You will face many defeats in life, but never let yourself be defeated. Maya Angelou. Chapter 1. 1956. Unexpected Complications. Newcastle Hospital's children's floor was decorated with paper jack-o'-lanterns, witches, and skeletons. With midnight approaching, the chatter of little voices, impatient cries, and whimpers gave way to silence. Mary Jean Oberleitner walked the length of the main corridor and stood at the window overlooking the side street. Just peeking over the rooftops of neighboring houses was the upper floor of the National Bank building several blocks away. All the lights were on. She imagined a cleaning woman busy vacuuming, dusting, and emptying trash cans. She would give anything right then to be occupied by mindless work instead of worrying about her daughter's health. Mary stretched to get the kink out of her neck and strolled back toward her daughter's room. The door to the children's ward stood open. Some of the children slept soundly, others rested quietly. A black-haired boy with dark brown eyes near the door was restless, tapping his foot on the edge of the iron crib. She smiled at him, but he turned away with a shy grin. Her chest ached at the thought that the little tyke had to be left alone. She couldn't understand how parents could leave children that small in the hospital all night. She felt anxious leaving her daughter Karen alone even for a few minutes. Mary continued along the hall to Karen's room. Karen had been a sickly child since birth and had been hospitalized at 1 year of age with a terrible fever. Mary was afraid they were going to lose her that night, but her daughter was a fighter. The fever broke toward morning. Karen rolled to her side when Mary entered the room and peered through the rungs of the white iron crib. "You're supposed to be sleeping," Mary said. "I want a pumpkin," Karen said. "We'll get a pumpkin soon," Mary said. She couldn't believe October was half over and Halloween was quickly approaching. This October would be different from last year when Karen suffered with one of her persistent throat infections. With no tonsils, they could go trick-or-treating without worry. "Daddy can help you carve it." Mary bent over the edge of the crib and brushed aside one of Karen's brown ringlets. The rail held a thick layer of white enamel with indentations of tiny teeth from children who had been hospitalized here before. Mary knew her daughter was safe here. The hospital staff and doctors were almost like family. Still, she couldn't shake the pervasive fear of losing another child. "I want to go home," Karen said. She was small for her age and looked even smaller in the white hospital gown and large bed. "It smells bad here." "That's just disinfectant," Mary said. "We'll get those nasty tonsils out in the morning. After that, you can have some ice cream. Now it's time for sleep." "I don't want to do my tonsils," Karen said. "Without tonsils, you won't have sore throats. You'll like that, won't you?" Karen nodded. "The doctors will give you some special medicine to breathe," Mary said. "It will be over before you know it." "Then we can have ice cream?" "That's right. All the ice cream you want." Mary didn't remember falling asleep in the chair. It was still dark outside when a young nurse entered the room. Mary didn't recognize her. She could have been Doris Day's twin with the same upturned nose and big eyes, but she wore a little too much makeup for Mary's taste. Nurses should look professional, not like they were going out to the movies. "You have to leave now, ma'am," the nurse said. "I need to get your daughter ready." Mary assumed she was one of the new graduates. She resisted the urge to inform the young woman that she was a registered nurse and knew the protocol. But today, she wasn't a nurse. She was a mother. She bent over and kissed Karen on the forehead. "I want my ice cream," Karen said. "Not yet," Mary said. "This nurse is going to take you to surgery. I'll see you when you're finished." "No," Karen said, reaching for her. "I don't want you to go." "I know," she said. "You be a good girl for the nurse. I'll see you soon." Karen whined. Mary held her breath and forced herself to leave the room. It was best this way, even if her heart was screaming for her to stay and protect her only child. She focused on the corridor to the elevator.